Hey, welcome to Robinson Foundry. These are the tongs I use to lift crucibles out of my furnace. I made them about 4 years ago, and they've served me really well, but as you can see, I was really bad at welding when I made them, and it's definitely time to make a new pair. I thought about designing some that wouldn't require welding, but really, welding is the best way to make these. If you don't have a welder, but you're interested in this kind of thing, you should definitely consider investing in an inexpensive welder like this one from Harbor Freight. They're about $100, and with a little practice, you can end up with some pretty decent welds. This weld won't win any awards, but it'll definitely hold. I recently got a TIG welder, so that's what I'll be using for this project, but you could just as easily use a MIG welder. This is all the steel I used. The rectangular bars are 3/16 thick, and the round bars are 1/2 inch. I'll include a list of materials in the description if you're interested. I started on the hinge by cutting pieces to length and then drilling a hole for a 3/8 bolt. I used my milling machine quite a bit for this project because I really enjoy using it, but I certainly didn't have to. All the cuts I'm making can be done with a hacksaw and a file. I needed a thick washer for the hinge, so I used my lathe and I turned one out of a piece of stainless steel. I actually ended up remaking this part. It was a little bit too thin, so I made a thicker one. Next, I started working on these pieces. I cut some 8.5 inch lengths off the 3/4 inch bar and then cut a recess in them to fit nicely against the hinge. This mostly just helped with alignment when it came time to weld them together. I put a slight bend in the bars where they fit on the hinge, as well as at the bottom, which helps them fit against the crucible a little bit better. Next, I worked on the pieces that actually wrap around the crucible. Bending a 3/16 inch piece of steel can be a challenge without the correct tools. However, I've found that if you bend it around a form, in this case I have an aluminum wine bottle cooler, you can get it pretty close to what you need. They don't have to be absolutely perfect, they just need to be close. This may not be perfectly round, but it was a really good starting point. I spent a few minutes welding together this little bending jig for my arbor press. This actually worked really well, and switching between the arbor press and the vise, I was able to bend these into a really nice crescent shape. The handles were really easy. I just cut them to length and then bent them roughly in the middle. Once I had most of the parts completed, I carefully tacked everything in place. The last pieces I made were some diagonal supports to keep the handles from flexing too much. Once all the pieces were tacked together, I made sure that the tongs worked properly and then welded everything in place. I'm really pleased with these welds. I just started TIG welding, so I was a little worried about making a big mess, but I think they actually turned out really nice. Next, I wiped everything down with acetone and then painted them with this high temperature spray paint. I ended up buying a stainless steel bolt and nut to prevent them from eventually rusting. Final step was to tighten the nut and weld it in place. I'm really happy with how these turned out, and I know I'll get a lot of use out of them. This was a really fun project, and it was nice to do something besides casting for a change. I guess next I'll have to make a pouring shank, but that'll have to be another video. If you'd like to make a pair for yourself, I'll add some more details in the description. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me make these, and if you did, please give the video a thumbs up, tell me what you think in the comments, and subscribe for future videos. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.